Alright, I'm trying this again now. And we shall see if it actually does work. If I can't get it to work, I just need to find a better way to do this, I guess. I currently have a 10-second delay just to make sure all the data is uploaded, so maybe this works now. Can you hear me? Nice. Okay, I think there might be still a delay, so if I'm not correct, then it should be 10 seconds, so... Okay, how's the quality then? Is that alright, or is that really bad? Because I had to reduce it. Hello, okay. I might try to remove the delay now. Maybe I can still do that. Let's see. Let's see. Output settings. Let's just try that. Alright, so I'm trying this again now. And also with no delay, so ideally you guys should give me direct feedback if I'm talking now. So, stream is healthy. Sound is okay, but can't see you. Yeah, I know, because I'm hidden, so... But you can see the Star Wars puppies or whatever that is, I guess. Cool. So I guess I'll just wait for a few more people because I want to talk about like Arnold and what happened. So there I am, by the way. Let's just hide all the other crap. Okay. So today I want to, well, I will still wait a bit until a few more people are online. I also write on my Twitter quickly that I'm streaming live. So maybe we get a few more people over Twitter. So testing out live streaming on YouTube. And we'll talk about Arnold surface. Oops. And more. Alright, we'll see if that will work. So if I go to my live dashboard, how does it work? Hello. Hello, Hercules. So it seems like it's still very laggy. Yes, I have moved to Canada. I am in Vancouver right now. So it's now 10, almost 11 p.m. So I was trying to set up live streaming for a while now, but it is weird because you need to run it on a third-party app, and then it connects connects to YouTube with a with like a weird encryption link, and then they connect to each other, and then it works all of a sudden. So it's yeah, you need to get used to it, and I think I'm not sure, I can't really minimize this view and keep the chat above everything, so I'm pretty new to everything. Pop out chat, there we go. So now I should be able to position the chat window somewhere. Maybe make this a bit smaller. Thank you so much for your tutorials. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching them, I guess. I try to keep everything as clear as possible and as organized, but there are so many requests and I don't actually have the time to do all this tutorial, so I need to slowly find my time and create the content for you guys. And now that Arnold5 is out, it's also not really helping because all the tutorials I've done so far are kind of redundant because it does not apply anymore to the current version, because everything has changed and new shaders, new settings, LPEs, which are light path expressions, which is also a different thing. So everything is not as easy anymore, but it's good. They're improving the renderer. It's getting faster, cleaner, and it's more functions, more options to play with. So how does that work? It's still live. Okay. Okay, we have now almost 20 people watching. I don't know. I'm not even sure if there will be more or if that's the peak. So feel free to ask some questions. I will. I'm reading them. As you can see, they are live on my desktop, and I'll try to answer everything. Okay. So the first thing I guess I want to talk about is the app I have written. The app is mostly for shader development and shader creation. It should be like a stepping stone to create better shaders and more advanced ones. Some of you might have the app. Some of you might not have the app. So I will, and unfortunately, I guess most of you guys don't have iOS devices, so it is not that helpful for you guys, but you can still see what the app is all about. Surface database. So I'm just showing you how everything works because it needs to download the materials and everything. So I'm downloading the app right now, and then I will download the materials, and then we go over that. So the question, thank you so much, these tutorials. Hi, from South Africa. I'm actually from Namibia, and I lived almost 18 years in Namibia, so I went to South Africa quite a few times. So yeah, hello from currently Vancouver, but I am originally from Namibia. What's your honest opinion about the new AI standard surface shader? My honest opinion is yeah, well, it needs definitely some work, and people need to get used to that because it is a totally different design of a shader. It has now this game mode like Substance Designer, Substance Painter, so it is a bit different. But I played around with that and working with the metal sliders and combining different shaders using the mix shader node. It is very fast, and because of closures, it's really efficient and fast. So it is pretty cool actually. And honestly, I'm working closely, or not closely, but I'm giving some feedback about the shaders in the beta forum, and we try to optimize it as best as possible for everyone, make everyone comfortable with the new design. But it is, I guess, it needs time to get used to, I guess. So let's jump. Can you show how to use the app to create? Yes. I won't show you the steps in Maya right now, but I just want to show you kind of the app, what everything does in the app. So if I open the Surface app right now, there we go. This is the default layout. So when you open the app the first time, you need to sign up or sign in. I did that already, so now it asks me to download 14 new materials, and confirming that, so they keep downloading. It takes a while because it's like 40 megabytes. Yeah, but it should be, depending on your connection, should be fast. Mine is, I guess, slow because I'm also uploading the stream currently. Okay, so here we are. So this is now the default landing page. Depending on your whatever you want for your UI preferences, you can add like thumbnail views, which is like a bigger thumbnail, and you can see how the material actually looks like. And you have night and light modes, dark and light. And I prefer to have dark, and I prefer to have detail. So if you want to create like gold, for instance, you just click on gold, and then you get a detailed summary of the gold shader. And in the new AI surface shader, you have the option to enter reflectivity and edge tint natively, so you don't need to do any plugins or like networks to connect them or something. So the reflectivity for the AI surface shader would be the base color, and the edge tint would be the specular color, but you have to make sure to have the slider on metal, and then it's just entering the values like 0.967, 0.848, and then add them to your I'm also reading now. So you just enter those colors. You can actually email you them. So if you click on the top right corner on the little paper plane, you can email you those values. F0 is reflectivity, F9 is edge tint, and you can just copy and paste, like copy this, paste it into the red channel, and this is the green channel, and then the last bit is the blue channel, and you can just copy those into your color slot in the shader, and then it should magically work. If you have like a nice light setup, then you actually should be good to go. And you can also click on these images to get a full screen view. These are the reflectance curves. Most of you guys, I guess, this is too much. It's just for more reference, so you can see how it reflects on the edges. Let me just read that quickly. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. It helps me so much to understand the chain. Will you make it possible to create my own materials and sharing it in future? Yeah, actually that is the idea of the app. So I'm slowly trying to create a community with all the users. And the game plan is that you can use the shaders or the materials I have provided, and you can create your own shaders with that. And you can actually at some point, I'm not sure how to do it exactly, but you can then connect your phone, or I don't know, get the images from your computer on your phone, and from there you can upload them into the app, into like a gallery page or user gallery page. And then in the end you can actually tag your renders with materials from the library or user materials, and then you can upload them and other people can see your shaders. And eventually, I'm not sure if I'm still new to all this shader writing and database and online privacy and all that stuff, so I'm not so sure how it will work in the end, but the main idea is to create a little community around the app so people can share shaders easily and talk about what they want to do and whatnot. So when you create materials, how do you set up your lighting scene? That's a very good question. I see lots of people not doing it wrong, but they don't really have an idea what they are actually doing with lights. And it is important to have a lighting environment which is always the same if you create shaders or materials. And it is important that it is like measured, kind of, so you should have proper sun or proper light values, and they should not be clipped. What that means is if you stop, like if you have a low exposure, you should still have a value inside of the lights, so you can actually have nice highlights and you get nice reflections. So what I mostly do is I have a almost a gray sphere, or like a grayscale image as mapped as an HDRI with like two big studio lights, kind of front lit and some backlit lights, and then in the center is my shader ball. And I try to make it look realistic but not too artificial. So in most cases I use a typical 3-point lighting setup as is being used in photography, so that's what I'm using mostly. And then I'm not trying to get it too complicated. And then ideally you have maybe 3 different HDRIs which are all measured values, and then you can actually test your shader in different scenarios like night HDRI, like sunset HDRI, or 1 p.m. sun, and then you can see how your shader behaves in proper sun and overcast or at night. And if all that works, then you know that your shader is good to go and it will work in any environment. And then most of the HDRs you can download from the internet are clipped, which means they don't have, they say they're 16-bit or 32-bit, but still the highest intensity values are actually clipped, so it means there is no information beyond a certain point which clips the image and which gives you flat results and no hard shadow lines. So how long until Arnold will be able to do GPU-based rendering? A year. Well, they don't have a fixed release date for that. We had several meetings with them and they don't want to give an exact date because they can't do that. It's now, because it's also a company of Autodesk, it's all very, I don't know, they can't give you a date. So what they told us is it might be in a 5.x version of Arnold, which is, we are currently at 5.0. 5.x means it's actually, they don't have a date. So they said it will be a feature and it will be coming, but honestly I think it won't be this year. I think it will be maybe early next year, I guess. I'm not so sure. But GPU rendering is nice, but it has also limitations, and for 90% of the users out there, GPU rendering won't be really helpful because first of all you can't really do high sophisticated scenes on the like default graphics card. You need proper graphics card, and most of you guys, unless you've got proper gaming PCs, don't have good graphics cards. So it won't really help in my opinion, because currently I'm working on my laptop which does not have really good graphics, and it's still good to have a CPU and work with CPUs, and obviously Redshift is nice and all the demos are super nice, but honestly in production and proper big scale scenes there is no room for Redshift, because there is just a certain limit, and after that you can't use it anymore. And at work, for instance, we have so really huge scenes and we've got tons of gigabytes of textures which needs to be processed, and for GPU renders to work, it needs to go everything needs to go into the graphics card, and they are still not big enough to have like proper production scenes. Could you please a bit about you? An iPhone alShaders are not supporting. Yeah, okay, 3 questions. So the first one is I should talk about myself, which is interesting. Well, I can quickly go over my VFX background. So most of us, like I guess in the industry, are gamers, and I started out as a Counter-Strike player and Battlefield player, Age of Empires actually, and at some point we had like LAN parties and we were playing with our team against other teams, and some team had like a very nice Counter-Strike introduction where these characters walk in screen and they pose with their guns and everything. And I wanted to do the same thing for our team. And well, I was asking the guy how did he do that, and he told me, yeah, with like a 3D software which is called 3ds Max. And then he gave me that software. It was, I think, version 6 or something. And I started playing around with that, did some logos, and actually from that point on I was hooked into 3D, and I was always trying to create my own stuff. And then it was all self-taught actually. I never really got someone to show me how things are done. I read documentation, and at that point it was 2000, what was it 19? It was maybe 1998 or something. The internet was not really that good, and Google was still in the early days. So it was hard to find any data or any information regarding 3D on the internet. So I was just mostly playing around, doing my own thing. And then after school, with 19, I went to Germany to study, and then I went to Berlin for a while, and then to Cologne, and then I got my bachelor's there. And while I was studying, I was also working as a freelancer, mostly in commercial and advertising. Yeah, and then I slowly went into animation, like feature animation films. I was like 3 years doing animation feature films, and then I moved to Munich, where I worked at Trickstar, where we did some proper VFX stuff. From there on, I moved to London, where I worked MPC and Cinesite for several years, and then actually I moved to Vancouver, which is now. So I'm now in Vancouver for 2 months almost, and started at ILM, which is pretty cool. Big company, very professional people around, and obviously Vancouver is a pretty nice place to be. It's slowly getting warmer, spring is starting, so it's quite cool to live here, I guess. So that was about me. So, and I found alShaders not supported. Yes, alShaders, or like the AL surface shader, won't be supported for Arnold5. Anders Langlands, the creator of those shaders, he officially wrote an email to M2A mailing list and told us that he won't be creating or supporting his shader because the M2A, the new AI surface, standard surface, AI standard shader, whatever, is like adopted most of the features AL surface shader had, so he won't be duplicating that because we can just use the new shader. But what he told us is that he will support his utility shaders, like his layer, color, and all that stuff will be supported. So the big shaders not, but the simple utility ones and noises will be supported. So that's a bright side, I guess. So do you recommend any render farms? I actually, yeah, I rendered my, was it? But it was PR Man, I think. Was it V-Ray? Well, I work with Rebus Farm quite a bit.